Hi out there. When you thought you have heard the worst things in the world and the most idiotic statements, then another comes which takes them all with power. Today, it's the English Prime Minister, Cameroon, who really makes it. Oh, I think that's terrific. You know what he says? As far as I understand, Eid is a commemoration of the event when Abraham was on the point of sacrificing one of his sons, that was Isaac, but in the end sacrificed a sheep instead of one of his sons because you have a compassionate God. And what's extraordinary about this story is it's exactly the same story, give or take, as appears in Genesis about my Christian religion. And it's the moment when we understand that the Abrahamic religions have so much in common, not just that we believe in a compassionate God, but also we believe that faith is not just something internal or something just between ourselves and our God. It is something that dictates how we should try and act in our lives. Yeah, you got it right. He's telling the absolutely most disgusting story ever told in the Abrahamic religions. And then he's willing to go out and celebrate the Eid with the Muslims for that story. I mean, that story tells me something. I already got it when I was a kid. Many years ago, I was a kid, as a matter of fact, for those of you who don't believe it. And we had a school teacher, I think it was in the second, I was 9 years or something, and she told with her passionate voice about this story. And that really shows the love of God, that he then came up to Abraham and said, well, you shouldn't kill your boy anyway, you shouldn't halal slaughter him, you should take a goat instead. Well, she never talked about who took the goat's interests. I don't know if anybody did, but today we have a lot of animal activists. They should really do it. But that's not the point. The point is that story reminds me of the little girl living next door to me when I was a kid too. And then the big girl living next door to, were looking after her some afternoon. And then the big girl took the little girl and she took her into the garage, and then she closed the door, and it was dark in the garage. And when the little girl has cried enough, then the big girl opened the door and took her out and comforted her. Am I not a good person? She said, I'm really comforting you, and now you're out of the dark. That was passionate, wasn't it? That was absolutely passionate. And she was good to that little girl, wasn't she? Or am I wrong somewhere? Or maybe we could use another metaphor from the film, that the most of you maybe have seen or heard about, Sophie's Choice. The German officer, he says to Sophie, well, you have 2 kids. I want to throw one of them in the gas chamber. And you know something? I'm a good person. You can choose yourself. Which of them? And after that, she raped her. And then he told her that he was certainly a good German officer and a good person. That's the same with this story. What a load of rubbish. I mean, the God says, Abraham, go on the mountain, sacrifice your son, halal slaughter him, to show that you obey me. And Abraham, stupid enough to do it, standing on the mountain, burning the fire, wanted to burn his son after that, halal slaughter him. And then this passionate God come from heaven and said, well, I was only joking with you. I had to see if you could do it. You see, you take a goat instead of. Is that passionate? Is that a loving God? Or is that a psychopath, a monster, a sociopath? I say the last thing. And if Cameroon can't see it, then your Prime Minister in UK, something, he must be a real moron. Because if he says that is love, and that brings Christianity and Islam together, then he can have it. Thanks for now.